Hi guys, I continue challenging myself speaking in English because I want to improve my language skills, and English isn't my first language. So today I'm going to talk to you about the topic, which is the alcohol. Why I started drinking alcohol, and when, and why and how I stopped doing it in my 30s. So today I'm going to share some experiences and life stories that I have that happened to me, and I believe that might help you to make some decisions on your own and maybe change something about your lifestyle. So I started drinking when I was a teenager. I was drinking vodka when I was 16 years old. Yes, I started early, and it was easy to find some alcohol back then because even adults, they bought us alcohol and we were drinking with them and even get drunk with them. And that was a serious culture of drinking, I believe, in students' age. And at some point, I found myself drinking like too much, maybe 2 or 3 times per week, drinking vodka with other students after lessons. It was too much, in my opinion. And at the age of 18, I started to learn more about self-development. I started following some experts on self-development in different areas like personal growth, finances, business, and other things. And I made a decision to stop drinking too much of alcohol. And when I made that decision, I lost about 70% of my friends. Just think about that. I lost 70% of my friends at the age of 18 when I made a decision to stop drinking alcohol too much. And I was thinking about that, like, that's strange because I was like sure that we were friends, and if you can't speak with someone or can't spend some time with them because you decide to not drink alcohol, I think that's wrong, and maybe it isn't real friendship. What do you think about that? So I lost 70% of my surrounding, of people in my surrounding, but other people take their place in my life, and I found a lot of interesting guys in creative area, and we started spend our time in many different ways without drinking alcohol, like playing guitar, doing music production, photography and videography, acting on the stage, traveling, and something else. And it was an interesting student's time, and it was fun time, a lot to remember and to talk about, but not today. So the second moment in my life when I made a serious decision about an alcohol was when I was 20 years old, and I was organizing a huge event for students. I sold about 200 tickets, and I met on this event my friend, my old friend from my school, my classmate. And I was so glad to see him that we agreed to meet next day. And when we met, we were sitting at his home, talking about different things, and we were drinking vodka. Yes. It was an interesting evening, but next morning I felt so bad. I had a headache, and I was thinking that maybe I have to stop drinking vodka forever. But what happened next? Like 6 months later, another friend, he invited me on his birthday, and when I was there, we were celebrating with his friends. And at some point he came to me and told me, like, if you're my friend, you have to drink vodka with me. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't stand the thought of vodka anymore. But he was serious about that, and he told me, like, but if you're my friend, you have to drink vodka with me. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And it was tough. We get drunk. It was also an interesting evening, but next morning I felt so bad. And I stopped drinking vodka, and I don't drink vodka for 12 years right now because of that birthday, because it was so bad. And I believe that I won't do it for the rest of my life. So that was the second time in my life when I made a serious decision about an alcohol. And the third one was when I was in a relationship with a girl, and we had different ways to spend our time together, but mostly with an alcohol also. And we were watching TV, drinking some beer, not too much, but drinking. We were sitting somewhere with our friends, also drinking some rum or whiskey. And at some point, I found myself seriously talking with her about amount of alcohol that we are drinking, and maybe we have to stop drinking too much. Maybe 2 or 3 times per week, it's too much. And I was worried that maybe I might have some problems with alcohol, and I started to learn more about that, and I started to search for the information about alcoholics, alcoholism, and different stages of alcoholism. And it was written there in those articles that if you drink more than 5 liters of ethanol or pure alcohol per year, it might have some bad impact on your brain cells, and they literally die, so you can't restore them. So I started to reduce the amount of alcohol in my life, and to about 1 liter of ethanol per year. So it's about 1 bottle of wine per month. And next thing that was written there in those articles is that it's also important to notice how many times you're drinking, because if you're drinking every day, not too much of alcohol, but every day, it also has some bad impact on your daily habits, on your lifestyle, and sometimes you start drinking if you don't want to, So that was the third time where I started to think seriously about the amount of alcohol in my life. I didn't have any problems with alcohol, but I started to thinking about that more seriously. And the fourth time was when I was sitting with my friends and their relatives and parents at the table like this one, and there was different meals and different vegetables and fruits, and also different types of alcohol on the table. And I was looking at them, at my friends, their relatives, and their parents, and thinking of that, their parents were about 50 years old, and they were drinking alcohol with us, with their children. And I was questioning myself, am I going to be an adult like them? Am I going to drink alcohol in my 60s with my children? Is it the best way to spend the rest of my life? And the answer was no. And I started to believe that maybe I have to change something about my lifestyle, because I believe that we have different ways how to spend our time together with our friends, with our relatives, with our parents without alcohol. We can play some game cards, video games, watch movies, go to the cinema, travel somewhere. So many ways how we can spend our time together without alcohol, without bad impact on our health. And my final take or conclusion about the topic about the alcohol is that I think we have to control ourselves and be strong enough to manage ourselves, to not allow anyone to have any bad impact on our life, our health, and our habits. And we have to protect ourselves from this bad impact from other people in our surrounding. And also, I want to be a good example for other people, because if someone wants to drink much more than I do, I don't want to bother them. But if I decided to drink only 1 bottle of beer for the whole evening, let's say today, then I have to be strong enough to keep my word, So that's the point. Right now, I reduced the amount of alcohol in my life to about 1 liter of ethanol per year. And for the past 6 months, I guess I drank maybe 6 bottles of beer, maybe 1 glass of wine and 1 glass of whiskey, and that's all. So I'm drinking right now only on social occasions, only with my friends on some parties, but not too much. So that's all. What do you think about that topic? Do you have any questions? Just write your thoughts down below under this video. I believe somebody will respond to you, and I will. And if you need some help or advice about that topic, please let me know in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye bye.